The statewide mask mandate just went into effect yesterday, but both before and after, the levels of adherence have been mixed. Over the weekend, there was still plenty of non-social distance goofing around going on the Boston Common. But just a short distance away, at Haymarket, vendors had a decidedly different tone, concerned that the city might shut them down.
People were violating the 6 feet rule. People are not putting their part. So the more people are not putting from their part, the less we're going to be here.
Haymarket was under the watchful eye of city inspectors, and that was before the governor's mandatory mask rule went into effect. Jump ahead to Wednesday. Things looked different. On the Boston Common, it was a mixed bag. Some bench sitters were close, but most wore masks. The casual strollers virtually all wore masks, but we noticed that while the moms and dads wore masks, some of the kids just might be over 2. Bikers were another story. Some yes, some no. Gotta cut them a little slack. In Nubian Square, masks were plentiful. Even a guy asking for change was wearing a mask. An extra credit to this woman, walking, talking on the phone, and wearing a mask. Then there are those we'll simply call half-masked. And finally, who is this masked man? Hi-ho, Silver, away. All right, I'm joined now by someone who's been keeping an eye on this issue as closely as I have, Boston Globe reporter Beth Teitell. Welcome, Beth.
So glad to be here, Emily.
Okay, so I fall into the category of the half-masked people. So I go out with the mask, and then the minute I'm like getting up ahead of steam or anything, I got to pull it down and start breathing.
And didn't you pull it back up when you're passing somebody?
Yes, exactly.
I think we need a name for that motion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a man doffing his hat.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think? Like the mayor of Providence wants people to start shaming people who aren't wearing masks. What do you think of that? Like, you got to put your mask on. What do you think of that?
You know, I think that's actually already happening here. There are a lot of mask vigilantes.
Really?
I mean, I've been really struck at the Globe by the reporting I've been doing. I can't recall such a flashpoint in a while. People are very scared and angry about people who are not wearing masks. I've heard a lot of stories about people going around telling people, put on your mask, pull up your mask, people starting fights over it, as you know. So it's becoming a big deal.
What about tattletaling, like calling 311, which is the city's, non-emergency hotline number? It's like, really?
For the mask? I know, they're gone by that point. You know, I heard something interesting the other day. A woman was saying that even when people are 6 feet further than 6 feet away, when they don't have a mask on, she's afraid that they will come closer. So it's not, because really, as the governor said, you don't have to have a mask on if you can keep proper social distance. But some people are afraid that, you're 7 feet now, but what if you come within 5 feet? So I think people are so on edge that anything is pushing them over.
We just saw a jogger there on screen. It's really, really, I'm not a jogger, but it's really, really hard to wear a mask. I play tennis. I don't know if I could play tennis in a mask. I mean, and these bicyclists whipping by. I mean, I don't know.
I know people are so angry. I feel like, remember in the days, it's hard to remember when we used to drive someplace and the natural enemies at that point were the cars versus the cyclists.
Yeah.
Now I think it's everybody versus either the runners, a lot of whom still don't wear masks. I understand it's hard. And then also the cyclists who aren't wearing masks. I think the thing is people are just so afraid, and that's what you're seeing. It's really becoming a point of tension for people. But at the same time, we've also reached the point where masks are now becoming somewhat of a fashion statement.
I'm just going to ask you about that. I mean, like the guy with the skeleton. And I saw some really creative stuff over the weekend. I mean,
what did you see?
The one I loved was it was a full bore-on gas mask with the hoses coming out. I mean, I think he was kind of kidding because he was in the grocery store, but it was hilarious. With the things like wartime gas mask.
Well, a couple things on that point. First of all, Vogue, of course. I mean, you knew it was going to come to this. Have the 92 cloth masks you need to buy right now.
Exactly.
With designers. Yesterday, I interviewed a style expert who runs a gentleman's website, and he said that that you could use a mask to sort of display your personal style, kind of like a pocket square, is how he said it.
Exactly.
But it's strange. But the other side was jumping on what you said about the guy with the gas mask. I interviewed a woman who was wearing an N95 mask that was old. She had tried to give it away, but she couldn't. And she was shamed in Whole Foods because she was taking the mask from the medical workers.
Now, that is just terrible. I mean, and people assume knowledge that they don't have. for all they knew, she was a medical. I mean, it's like,
Exactly.
That's the other thing.
Well, it's like, if you've inherited a fur coat from your grandmother, you can never explain to your silent judges, I didn't buy it new. It's just inherited. And she didn't have the chance to explain her mask.
I shot a few of those pictures. My photographer got most of them, but I shot a few of the ones over the weekend. And when I was taking the pictures of the guys on the bench, one of them jumped up and said, "Get her cell phone." I mean, I was terrified, because...
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, well... They didn't know what I was doing, but I was just shooting the fact that most of them weren't wearing masks. But, they did. So, see, my point is, you don't want to approach anybody and start tisk-tisking them about anything, wherever you are.
You definitely can't. The other day, my son and I were walking with our masks on. It's not comfortable, obviously. And we realized that we were nostalgic for the point of the pandemic before the masks. Like, at the point when they didn't think it was going to help, when they told us not to wear them.
Yeah, exactly. And are we sure they do help?
I think they do. But it's a real virtue signaler also.
Yes. Totally.
Even if it's like rude. I walk around in my neighborhood a lot and I'm usually far from people, but I still have my mask on. If someone's coming, I'll pull it up, even if I know we're not going to be close.
But I don't like people talking to me on the phone and then saying, "I hope you're wearing your mask." It's like,
what? That's like driving and talking. They're like, "I hope your hand's free."
Exactly. It's like,
what's interesting? There's a Scottish medical anthropologist who talked about what he said his phrase was mask culture.
Yeah.
And he said that you wear masks to show solidarity.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I thought was interesting.
That's a good
beyond
one.
Germ transmission.
Yeah.
The bigger social point. We're all in this together.
All right. Beth Teitell, always enjoy your comments and your take on things. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.